deep like a summer with essence. Just steps up your elegant grace. Beauty with brains puts the world in its place. They light the mic, that truth ignites, burning through the fake in the dead of night. Feminism shaking, red pill faking, they're breaking every chain. The culture's making no simps, no saints, no soft disguise. They see through the games and the alibis. They're not here to please, they're here to lead. Truth and balance, that's the creed. No one's a boom, energy of truth on fire. They're calling out the world's desire. From fake ideals to more decay, they're lighting up the modern age. No one's safe, not the church, not fame. They're flipping the script, rewriting the game. Love and logic, heart and soul, saving the truth for this nation's soul.
Yo, what's up, Gia?
What's up?
How you
How
doing?
are you doing today? I'm good. I'm
You know
good.
what? You know what? I am doing pretty well. I think Allie Beth Stuckey is really mad at me though, because she has doubled down and made multiple videos and comments and posts. I think we're getting to her. I think I've officially gotten to her underneath her skin, and I'm loving it. I'm loving
It's
it.
always something online, right? It's like never ending.
It never does end. Today, like, we are going to be talking about like a bunch of weird stuff. I don't even know what these are. Like, what are the levers? Like, I mean, is this like five love languages? Like, 'cause-
So every marriage has invisible levers, and some people don't even actually subconsciously know that they're doing them, right? They could be things to build a connection. They could be a thing to break down a connection. They can be used for respect. They can be used for control. But they're things that
I think
each
my
couple
ex
will
hid
do.
one. I think my ex hid the levers because I couldn't find no levers or any pulleys or any systems. You know,
Yeah, some women don't even like. I know I didn't even know there was a thing, until like I start getting and researching it, right? But once you understand what these things are, it becomes like very obvious. You can see them in every relationship used, and some women don't even realize they're using them. So today we're going to be discussing that, and we're going to be bringing on two special guests that I'm excited to bring on is Rob and Avis Ramble. So these
now
two,
who are these folks? Yeah, who are these peoples?
This couple has been married well over 30 years. They have a lot of insight into what makes a marriage work, and they actually have a podcast that they do regularly, and they're very vocal on Twitter, and they just have a lot of foresight and how to handle and cultivating a great marriage.
This week we got special guest Rob and Avis Ramble, the dynamic duo couple with 30 plus years of marriage and still going. They're here to share with us how they learn to survive, thrive when other marriages are falling apart. What made them last when others have failed? They're going to talk about levers and how to pull them and which ones not to pull. So without further ado, let's get into it, shall we? Like, so you said they've been married since like Jesus was here.
Yes, quite a while.
Wow, like, I mean, that's cool. All right, well, you know what? How about we bring them up?
Bring them. Let's go. What's up, guys?
Hey.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Yes, nice having you too. So we're about to get into some
great for like being around since Jesus was here.
Right? Botox.
He's talking about me.
That is awesome. So, you guys, we're not talking like frame or theory today. You know, we're actually gonna be talking about from both sides of marriage what the battlefield really looks like. You know, and you guys are gonna be our expert witnesses today. You know, like about this lever stuff.
Sounds like a lot of pressure, Glenn.
I mean, it does. I'm just like, what is this? What's this levers? I got pulleys here. I got to pull this one here. Like, which one makes her walk faster? Yeah. But please, Gia, like, explain like the concept of all this, so for the audience and.
Well, I think it's. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, Avis, Rob. You let me know. But I think it's like it's the difference between having like a really hot, desirable marriage versus like a dull, boring one. Like how you handle, treating each other and the little things that you do on a day-to-day basis, even it, I know, I think I've heard this term in other different spheres or groups, but they create little things and how they treat each other to kind of like amp up the attraction in the marriage. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate. I don't know that I necessarily conceptualize it in the same way. I've always kind of thought about it as like this wall of levers that are out there to pull, right? And sometimes some of them are becoming uncovered the longer you're in your marriage. You didn't really know there were levers you could pull. Some of them are very apparent to you when you first get into marriage, right? And then we all kind of have to make decisions about them pulling them. And sometimes, there's side effects to pulling those levers. Sometimes negative side effects, but sometimes the side effects have the greater good, even though there is some negative associated with it, right?
Because you hear, like, for instance, you'll hear things like the dread game. You'll hear things like, create little drama create little drama, because women, they hate being bored. We all know this.
Oh, those are levers?
So, I mean, they don't call them levers. Okay. But I think
we call them tools. We're tools.
Right?
They're tools in our
I think
tool
they're a
belt.
form of levers. I really think it comes down to the conception of that, right? It's little emotional things you might say verbally or do or act that changes how she treats you or how he treats you.
Oh, so yeah, then I know a whole bunch of levers that tend to piss off women. But they work. Like, have your gym bag at the door. Just leave your gym bag, your go bag, you're ready to go at the door. And then, like, when she's acting up, don't argue. Go into the gym.
What do you think, Rob? Tell me, like, how do you see them? Give the audience a little overview.
Like examples of the levers?
No, how do you see them? Yeah, and you can give examples, of course.
I mean, I think they're just, gosh, there's so many I can think of. I mean, I think there's dozens, and maybe I don't know how many we'll get into here. Maybe there's hundreds. I don't know. There could be levers out there I don't even know exist, right? But yeah, I think they're just, I don't know. I'm struggling here with how to really best describe.
So is the best way to say it, like these are things that you could do to ignite a desired response.
It's a good way of putting it. Well, Gia, you said at the beginning, like, we want like sexy marriages, right? We want a lot of passion in our marriages, and like when I think about like levers and what I want to pull, it's like if it's working towards that goal, even if it has side effects, it's probably a lever worth pulling, right? And that's kind of how I think about it, and what levers make sense to pull.
I think that there's emotional levers, there's sexual levers, there's financial levers, there's social, right? So like there's so many different ways you could do it.
Yeah.
So it seems like these are actions that you could implement to encourage or correct a response that for a better outcome. So in a way, would we call that manipulation?
It can be. I think it can be. Yeah, because think of it like this: the emotional leverage that somebody might do, because ultimately that's how I think of it, as like a leverage, is, let's say, a woman withholding affection in the marriage, right? That could be a lever to get her husband to do something. Now that is manipulation, and I don't agree with it, right?
Yeah.
So
I would say that's bad manipulation, but is there such a thing as good manipulation? I kind of think that exists.
Well, actually, I think manipulation in itself is not bad nor good. It depends on how it's being utilized and who is it affecting and how does it affect them, right? Does it affect them for the negative? Because like I used to tell my kid, look, if you eat all your vegetables, you'd be as big as strong as me. We all know that if he ate all the broccoli in the world, that he was never going to get as big as strong as me. But I wanted him to eat healthy, eat all, get all the, vegetables in, get all the minerals and vitamins in, right? And that would ultimately help his health, right? Overall.
Yeah.
I was manipulating the fuck out of him, but it was for a good reason.
Yeah.
So manipulation can be beneficial for the person. It's only bad when it only benefits the person that's manipulating them.
Like, I'm going to give you an example, for instance. Okay. Let's say a wife is washing her husband's clothes, and he has told her over and over again, hey, listen, don't do something specific to my clothes because it makes them shrink. Right. But she doesn't listen, and she keeps on doing the clothes the way she always does them. Okay. And then he comes over for the second or third time, and his shirt has shrunk. Okay. and he goes off. He just explodes on her, you know, curses, I've told you. And, you know, she's taking this, whoa, it's just, I took, you know, here I am cleaning your clothes. I get no appreciation. And you're cursing at me. Like, what did I do? But in his mind, what he hears is, you didn't hear me. You didn't listen to me. So I must not matter to you. You don't appreciate me because you're not even looking out for my things. Okay. So he's taken it again and again and again. And now he explodes. Now, she could use this two different ways. She could go two different ways on this. And this to me is a lever, right? She could turn around and say, I'm sorry. I'm going to make a note of it and do better. Not withhold affection. Go over to him, hug him. He would probably calm down. He would probably, you know, say, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have exploded like that, right? Once he calmed down. Or the other way she could go at it is become silent, dismissive, weaponize affection from him for the whole entire day, right? He comes over to her. No, I don't want to touch you. You were mean to me. Okay. And then it just expands and keeps going. So this is where I say levers can be good or bad, and how you react and how you handle it in a conflict.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So, in the visualization of this, am I picturing I've got like a wall of good levers, and then right behind me I've got a wall of bad levers, and I'm like spinning around. And I'm like, well, which one am I?
You're like the angel and demon on one side. You're like,
like the
Glenn, why don't you get into the drama? Because we all know women love like a little bit of drama. They like to break from their monotony, and you always tell husbands what to like create that little drama. Give some illustrations of that.
Yeah. So why you gotta put me on blast? Tell me out for that. She's like, go ahead, tell us all the drama shit.
We need to hear it. We need to hear it.
Okay. It's like, okay, guys, like women love drama. Okay. Ladies, I hate to say it, you love drama, and you know you do. Just don't deny it. You like watching true crime. All right, that's drama. You like watching reality TV. You want to see who, you know, Khloe Kardashian is gonna be yelling at next, and who might be Kim sleeping with, right? You love that drama. Fellas, we need to be aware of that. So what we need to do is manufacture drama. All right, because if you manufacture the drama, you can control it. Meaning you're just giving her that emotional spike that she needs, and then you can control it and de-escalated it, right? Now, if you can let her have the power to control the drama, well, you're going to be running like a chicken with your head cut off, trying to figure out what the hell's going on. So what you do is like, you know, just manufacture a little bit of drama. It'll be simple as like this. You could be going to the laundry. The laundry's not done right. Your shirt shrink. You go there, hold the shirt. What is this? Just throw the shirt away. Just go throw the shirt away. I'm going to the gym. Walk out. Just walk out. Don't even say anything. You've already said it to her. She already knows. She already knows that she done messed up. This is the third time you told her. That was your favorite shirt. It was your SpongeBob shirt, limited edition, and she just ruined it, right? And she already knows. She's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did it again, right? And that right there is enough manufactured drama. You're not even really mad about it. Maybe you are, maybe you're not. And you just go to the gym, you go handle your business, you go buy your favorite shirt again, and then you come back. And then right there, her not knowing where you're gone, what you're doing, that's enough drama for her. She'll be like, that hits that. And then you come back, you know what? I'm sorry, got a little frustrated. I'm tired of repeating myself. I got my new shirt though. You're not washing this one. Keep your hands away from this one. You know, and then you manufactured the drama. You controlled it, you escalated it, and then you de-escalated it. You know, but it was enough for her to get that spike that she needs naturally. So that's a way, it's a lever.
Mm-hmm.
I guess.
Now, what about you guys? Can you guys give an example of something that would be similar?
Manufacture drama?
Just something that maybe is a lever.
Yeah, sure. But can I ask Glenn real quick first? So does this also apply if your wife turns your clothes pink?
Oh, yes. If she accidentally puts a little bit of bleach in your red shirts and it's now pink or fuchsia.
Yeah, or wash your whites with something red. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Like your wife beaters are all pink beaters.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
And you look like, you might be like standing up for like, Breast Cancer Awareness Month year round. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're asking for another potential lever that's not just drama. Something else.
Basically,
something emotional. And within the emotional levers.
An emotional lever. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Don't tell any of the ones that you use. Okay. Don't want you to get in trouble. Don't give away the
We've been
game.
married a long time. I mean, it's probably gonna be hard to talk about something I haven't used. An emotional lever. Yeah, I don't know if this is gonna apply, but I'm gonna go with it because it's one I talk about a lot, and I think it's super important. I've made no secret on X that I hold standards for Avis, right? And I don't apologize for that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it's actually healthy for
Nothing
me to do
wrong.
that and healthy for her.
That's emotional for sure.
But for her, that's where I was kind of going. Maybe it fits. And for her, it can be emotional, right? Because if I look at her and I say, I mean, you look pretty good, but you looked a little better last week, right? Like it's kind of like it's just a way of kind of saying to her without being mean about it, right? And just saying like, hey, like we've got commitment and standard to each other, and it is something that I expect you to keep up with. And then she has to respond to that, and it's got a little drama to
That
it.
is. No, that is.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is exactly what that is. Like you're like, hey, there is a weight limit to ride this ride, and you might be exceeding it. You can't ride the ride.
Absolutely. People are amazed when I tell them Rob can see a pound on me.
It is true. Yeah.
So hey, with you, is that when you grab out your Kanye West workout plan and you get in the living room and you get 1 and 2 and 3?
No. I mean, working out is part of our daily life. But sometimes you get a little lax in the kitchen. So that's when you gotta like reel in
People
those
don't
macros.
realize that's like where 90% of the problem is. It's not so much the lack of activity, because a lot of people are really active throughout the day, especially if you're married and you have kids. You're constantly running around, right? So it's not so much the lack of exercise or activity. It is the lack of discipline in the kitchen.
Yeah. I mean, everybody in this room knows muscle comes from the gym, fat comes from the kitchen.
Yep. So when it comes to levers, it's like, the levers that you will need when you're a newlywed isn't going to be the same levers you're going to need when you have like 3 kids and a mortgage then, right?
I'm gonna say that most levers stem from male and female sexual dynamics, like how like even from the beginning when they're dating, there's always a little bit of like war of like who's in control there, right? Like women will test men to see if the man is in control by giving little shit tests, and she'll see if you come out on top, right? So there's always kind of that dynamic. I think if these levers start to go away, like even after the dating phase into the marriage phase, if they go away, then you have to really ask yourself, did the attraction die? Did the desire die? Because there's always going to be a little bit of that. And it should be there, but it should be harnessed for good.
Well, because I'm wondering, like, so like you're single and you have no kids, you guys are dating or you're just newlyweds, right? Those levers are going to be different than the levers you're going to have when you have kids, because the dynamics change. So it's almost like, as your relationship grows, maturity grows, maybe do the levers change? Like you graduate from those.
Yeah, it can. But I mean, let me ask you like this one, the sexual leverage or the sexual lever, that never changes. It doesn't change from the dating and it doesn't change from the marriage.
True.
Like she can use intimacy, or he could use intimacy as a way to like weaponize getting stuff done, which is why I think I harp on that, because it's done so often. It's like the number one lever that people tend to use.
Yeah.
Well, then I think that there are consistent principle levers that are foundational that don't change, and that would be like the intimacy one. But like when it comes to like work versus like let's say you have working at home, or you're working, or you're a stay-at-home wife, those levers are going to be different. Like how that husband is going to be pulling the levers, or how the wife is going to be pulling the levers, depending on those dynamics, right? Like the lever is going to be different because the situations are going to be different, or the scenarios are going to be different. So like the outcome might be different, right?
What do you think, Avis?
I think backing it up just a hair, you hit on a very important lever, which is the shit test, which I actually just found the name to in, I think it was Gift's book. That I read, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have done this all of my life, and more in the beginning of our relationship and less as we mature together. Because you're right, like as women, we're always looking for that, like, is he worthy? Can he handle the situation? Right? And you just, I think subconsciously we just do it over and over and over. And if you understand it and you look back, you can see it. Like, and so I think that's, like I said, that one I think is it's pretty common and it stays. And I think as women, I at least didn't even like it's something we do without even really consciously
because
knowing.
it's hardwired. So we want to
Yeah.
know that we are protected, right? Because technically we cannot protect ourselves. Like we have
Yeah.
to be honest. Like the world will tell you, yeah, women are strong. No, come on.
Wait a minute, you need men?
Yes, a man will overpower us in a second. So we know subconsciously we need a man. We need to know that the man that we're with is actually protecting. You know, it's self-preservation. It's innate.
Yeah.
Rob, how do you approach shit tests? Because I look at, well, I just want to ask you how you approach it first, then I'll tell you how I look at them. Like, did you get mad at first? You were mad like when she was doing these shit tests? You're like, God dang it, woman.
Sure. I mean, early on, right? When you're coming from a background, you don't understand what's going on, right? And you're trying to figure out what's going on, and your wife is coming at you with these things, and you're like, why are you questioning? Of course, like you're not showing me respect. Of course, I care about you. Of course, I'm going to protect you. Of course, I'm going to do all these things. Like, why are you even questioning that, right? Because I think as a man, you can't see it. You recognize something's going on. You recognize that she's in some way doubting you or questioning you. But if you don't really understand at, kind of the biological hardwired level is what you were talking about, Gia, like of why she's doing it, I think it can be very confusing for a husband, right?
Oh, I agree. Now, like I'm at the point because I'm learning the game, right? I'm like, ooh, fitness test. I like it. I like proving my value. Let me show you what I can do. Like that's the mindset I think the guys need to have. They need to stop having this like, oh my God, here you go. She's shit testing me again. No, it's like, oh, she's testing my abilities. She wants to see how great I am. Let me remind her why I am the guy and no one else is. Let me remind her why she's with me. Let me just show you
how
how.
Don't even have to remind her.
But no, it's like it's an opportunity. Like hers is a shit test is an opportunity to you to prove yourself again, to remind her of how great you are, why she chose you, why she's with you than anybody else. And to me, that's great. Like I love competition. I love the ability or the opportunity because that's what I look at. It's an opportunity for me to prove my worth. And you should have no problem proving your worth. It's almost like saying, pull out the receipts. Oh, you want me to see my receipts? Here we go. Let me show you why I'm the man. That's a mindset I think guys need to have when it comes to these shit tests, because then it's like a game. It's not like, oh, you'll have to prove it. No, it's this game now. I could play this game and I win.
Let me ask just a follow-up question. I'm going to put you on the spot, Gia, and ask you a question. How is a shit test different from chore play?
Ooh.
So to me, a chore play is like rewarding somebody for doing an act. And a shit test is just basically a competence test. It's like to see, like, are you on top of this? Have you already thought in your mind what you're going to do? So like, that's why I say men don't always have to respond to the shit test. It's depending on what it is. Okay. If she's questioning whether you are preventative in the future, it can be easily squashed by saying, I got this, woman, enough said, and then walk away. Okay. Let her know that you're on top of it. You know where she's coming from. Now, if it's something that, to me, when you do chore play, it's, hey, do the dishes and then you'll get a reward. It's different. One is just a competency. They just want to know if you know where she is mentally. She's not giving, there's no reward afterward. It's just to find out. I don't know. I mean, am I wrong by saying that?
I don't think so. I think where my mind was going as we were talking through it is this kind of, and this is just a new thought I'm having now, right? It's coming out in real time. But are you being rewarded with her respect in a way? Is she putting
I think respect is earned, though. I think respect is earned. It's like something that is like, if she already decided to marry you, she already checked that. Like she's already looking, can you do this? And I think what happens in a marriage is sometimes men make mistakes because they're human, and then automatically she pulls that away. And she's like, you have to rebuild it again, whatever that may be, whatever mistake that was.
Yeah.
I think, it can just be a momentary lapse of, oh my God,
clarity.
Life is so serious. Like, do you have me?
So for the audience, if they're not really sure what chore play is, I got a video here perfectly queued up for it. Here we go. If you ever feel like you have to negotiate sex with your wife, then you need to install some dread. Don't compromise. Don't negotiate sex.
you should never have to negotiate sex. Dead ass serious. Because let me tell you something. All right, from a biblical standpoint, it says in like 1 Corinthians 7, I think 15 or 17, something like that. It says that you are not to basically withhold each other from each other. Withhold yourselves from each other. Okay, like your body, ladies, are not yours. They're your husbands, and husbands, your bodies are not yours. They're your wives. And the Bible said the only time that you are allowed to deny them is if you guys both agree that you guys take that time for prayer. All right. And I guarantee you, and the sad thing is, here's the fucking sad thing, is that this chore play stuff is being taught by the church. It's being taught by not just like these ladies, not just Kristen Bell, but the church and all these other places. And I'm like, where do you guys going with that? Where is that biblical? Where does it say thou shalt sweep and get some ass? Thou shalt do the dishes and fold the clothes and get some head? Nowhere does it say that. Okay. It says that you are not supposed to deny each other for one reason, for the main reason. For why? Because when you deny somebody and they have this desire, then you're going to cause them to sin. Not necessarily cause them to sin, but you could open that doorway for they could have an affair, get into pornography, all the things you ladies don't want your husband to do. If you want him to avoid him from fucking his secretary, well, make sure your ass is available for him to fuck. And you should fuck him like it's the last time you ever going to fuck him, because every time matters. Because once you start making it feel like it's a chore for you, we're not going to go to you for it. We're going to go elsewhere.
Yeah, so basically what I'm getting is, one is to gain affection, right? Or sex, right? So chore play would be a transactional way to gain affection. So it's kind of like a validation seeking kind of thing. And then the other one is to test competency or test strength. So it's validation testing. It's just the test, not trying to seek validation. So those are the two differences.
I think it makes sense. Thank you for talking through that in real time.
But it also, the testing is very much subconscious. Like
it is, and I think I think it's actually, the testing is for the relationship's benefit. The chore play is a transaction, a quid pro quo, right? So the chore play or the shit testing, really, it's for, because the way I look at it, she loves you, right? She loves you enough, but she wants to test whether or not you're competent enough. Because if she wants to see if you fail with her on a shit test, the people out in the world, they don't love you like she does, and they don't care about you. So if you can't even pass her tests, how does she know that you're going to be competent enough to pass the test that's in the world and not cave? Does that make sense? So it's like, fitness test is a way, like, I hate to say it's like iron sharpening iron in a way, but it's almost a way like for you to stay on your game. Are you on point? Don't get lax here. It's a way, in a weird way, it's her trying to help you out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we don't look at it that way.
Yeah. No, that's
I think too, like, the more mature we get, the more we can head that off, because like we were at an event and you were there as my husband. It was an event for me, but like the way that you showed up and the way that you interacted with my friends and stuff like that, like I was like, okay, yeah. Like that sort of just reinforces all of the good things that I think about you. And it, like, every time something like that happens, it's always, like, focus on the positives, not the negatives. When you present so many positives, that the negatives just sort of fall away. Like the shit testing, like, doesn't need to happen.
You're saying
That's why I encourage.
Yeah, that's all I heard, Rob. All I heard was she said that you are just perfect. That's what she said.
Yeah. I that's why I encourage men to shit test women, because women are never going to stop shit testing. It is what it is. Like,
yeah.
So men should shit test. They should do it, and constantly.
See, the men's shit test, that's not really the shit test. We that's the drama. That's the shit test.
Okay.
You think about it, when we play those little emotional spikes and stuff, we throw them in the manufactured drama. That's a shit test. How are you going to behave? How are you going to react? Like,
So I like what. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
He did get lots of rewards. People told him he looked very handsome, and by people, I mean a lot of my beautiful friends.
Which also gave you lots of rewards, because you were seeing how wanted your husband was by other women, which validates you.
That's a
she's like, oh, yes, lever pulled. And Rob's like, pull the lever.
So the next one I want to get into is the financial lever, because this one is like a top
Ooh.
priority for women, right? Whenever you ask a woman, like, what are the qualities you look for in a husband? Like I always ask women this, and that's like the top one. Like he has to be a good provider, right? Because self-preservation, again, self-preservation.
Good topic.
So
Yeah.
can you tell me an example of how this is used in a marriage, or in a, doesn't even have to be a marriage, a relationship?
Well, let me ask so I mean I could just talk about from kind of our POV. I mean, one of the things that like we were evaluating as a newly married couple, and especially, you know, when it came time, Avis, we started, you know, having kids and she got pregnant, you know, like, are you going to have your wife work or not? Because that plays into what you're getting into here, right? Because, you know, we just got to be realistic that like not every husband is going to, it's hard for families to get by these days, right? Even in dual
Yeah.
income families, stuff's expensive, it's hard to do, and it's going to be a struggle for most families without both spouses working, right? So, you know, what are you going to do about that? Are you going to send your wife to work? Because that's one of these levers we talk about, that pulling it has some negative side consequences.
Yep.
And
so it's
consequences. Thank you. It has some negative consequences to it, you know, but the positive is maybe you're more financially stable as a family. So, you know, what do you
So
do?
this is one of those things that I think you got to think about before you even getting married, right? You know, like you want to tip the scale in your favor, you know, because, you know, as a man, you're going to go in there taking a lot of the risk. And this is something I really tell guys, think about prior to. Don't rush into this, because finances tends to be one of the number one reasons, you know, or historically it was been the number one reasons why people got divorced, right? So it's like, if the reality is only 18% of couples, married or unmarried, could live off of one income in America. That's the reality of it. The majority of families are dual income. And whether that is because they live beyond their means, or they're not minimalists and, you know, they're trying to keep up with the Joneses or whatever, or maybe it's because where they're living, California, you know, anywhere on the coast, you know, is going to be expensive on either coast. So, you know, knowing that it's going to take both people working as an income, what I saw Thor did, and this is my mentor before he passed, he made his wife work for him, and they created a business.
Yeah.
And he had a t-shirt business. Like, he was a lineman. So he had all these custom lineman t-shirts that he made. He drew, and his wife was managing the business. Her job was to ship out the orders, you know, take the orders, you know, promote the orders, sell, you know, promo. She did all that from home. He helped create a business for her to keep her working, so that they got that supplemental income without her having to leave the house. So there's ways to set it up to where it's like, okay, we need a dual income, but I would rather her be home with the kids. How do we do this? Well, you make it to where she can stay home and work for you, and it works out. But I don't think a lot of couples could do that or think about that.
Well,
So
and it's like, it's not, you know, not everybody necessarily is going to have a great business idea that's going to enable them to do that either.
And not everybody has an they don't want to be an entrepreneur. So I think that that's important too. Like, an entrepreneurial mind is somebody who is comfortable working all the time. Like, the reason why people want to do 9 to 5s is because they want to shut off time. They don't want to be working all the time. People who have to own their own business, there is no shut off time. You're always working. So I say, there's not a lot of men that want that. And I think that's important for women to not push that, because every woman thinks that her man needs to be an entrepreneur, right? Oh, he needs to own his own. No, some men that's not their thing, and that's okay.
Yeah. So,
right?
But here's the thing about this though, because if it's mine and Rob's job, you know, as the men, to be the protector and the provider, right? And we're just going to go to the very basics of providing resources. We're not going to go to all the other things that we provide, but just say the resources, you know, for the house and everything. How is it that you guys are able to maintain respect, or how can men expect their wives to maintain respect for them if we go, hey, babe, I'm going to need you to go out there and get a job. I know I'm supposed to be a provider, but I need you to pick up my slack, and then, you know, what I can't do, and then still get home and make dinner in time because I'm going to be hungry and I expect the dishes to be done. Like, how is that?
The kids and go to the gym.
Yeah,
and
how is that realistic? It's
but
not
I don't
realistic.
think that men. I don't think men do that though. I think what we're having is we're having a lifestyle expectation today that is not sustainable with most jobs. Like, we have to look at what is the what I think it's like over 80% of people, what they make like 36,000 annually. It's
So
not like
the average income for males is about 55,000 a year.
that's high. That's high. I think it was like
That's the
36 the
average.
last time I checked.
You might be thinking about single men, but I mean the average total for men is like 55,000. For women, it's about 50 or 47,000.
So from what I understand is if men are making, let's just go to the middle point, 40,000 a year. Okay. If you really look at it, what women want and expect in a lifestyle takes a lot
100,000.
more, right?
Yeah.
So it's just not, especially when they, even I've looked at some girls' finances, and even their hair, makeup, and beauty alone was like 90,000 a year. Like that's for real. Some of these women are living like that. So what I'm trying to say is like, you can't expect, a man's not going to say, oh, I want you to go and get a job, but he is going to say, I can't take care of this. Like we got to simplify our life. And that means her going backwards. And then this is what women don't, they do not do well going backwards.
All right. So
they've gotten used to a certain lifestyle.
As of the second quarter of 2025, the average weekly earning for men was $1,330 to an estimate. So the average 52 weeks, this is before tax.
Okay.
And so the approximate average earning before tax is $69,160. However, a different source says it's $71,090. But the overall breakdown of the weekly factors, 16 to 24 years old, they make about $816 a week. 25 and above, about $1,396. And then 25 to 54 is about $1,391. Men actually go down in income. So the average, they're saying the average in America is about $69,000 before taxes. Now,
okay.
Yeah. So that's where we would get the whole like 50,000 after taxes, around that 55,000 after taxes, depending on where you live. So we could see like, so, and it says like, the average, what's needed for a family is about 100,000. You need about close to 100,000 for a family of two.
And you're not, even at that, you're not living high on the hog.
Yeah.
Right?
No.
Yeah.
So then we get into the whole, sorry, go ahead, Ibis. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think circling back around to it, it's more like for us personally, even when I worked, like we were trying to work out, who's going to pay the bills. And so we passed that back and forth in our early days. And then I was like, because we did it differently because I'm a woman and he's a man and we just think about things differently. Like all the bills got paid, but we just had, I don't know, in some way we did it differently. And when it really started to work for us is when Rob was like, okay, I'm paying the bills. And I was like, okay, I'm going to stop thinking about it. You tell me how much money can I spend a week without having to ask for money. And that's how we sort of solved it with a allowance, if you will. And that, like him taking the reins and setting the boundaries, this lever that he pulled was like, you don't get to worry about money anymore. And that was like revolutionary for me as a person. So like financially, whether you're working or not, like there's other levers involved with finances as well.
Yeah. And it wasn't intuitive for me either. I mean, we both came from pretty broken homes and have great examples, right?
Yeah.
But like once I had that in my head, it was like this is crazy. Like we can't keep like having these different views of how it's going to be. So
it's really funny. So
put on your lingerie and I'm paying the bills.
Yeah.
This is what I
Here
just
you
pulled
can
up.
spend $10.
Yeah.
I pulled up like what is the average, like the average income needed to live in America by state, right? And it's ridiculous. You wouldn't believe it. So Hawaii is the most expensive state for a single adult to live comfortably. It takes an average salary of $124,000 for a single adult to cover needs, wants, and long-term savings and income investments. So that's just think about it. For a family, it costs close to $300,000. Now they say in Massachusetts, for average cost for is over $300,000 for a family to live comfortably in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
So West Virginia, $80,000.
Yeah. West Virginia, great state, by the way.
It's
I love
beautiful.
West Virginia.
That's
Yeah,
wild.
so kind of driving back at the topic. So like if you're if you've got to make the decision, am I going to send my wife to work? Am I not going to send my wife to work? Right. And there's very real things you have to think about in that. And it may require, if the answer to that is I'm not going to pull that lever, I'm not going to send her to work, but that may require, we may have to pick our family up. We may have to move to some West Virginia. Right.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is when I get into the whole what is happening in marriages, right? So she wants a certain lifestyle and she's like, yeah, I'm willing to work for it. So she goes to work, she starts working, she starts making more. Then she starts with the whole I pay the bills, right? So I can do what I want. And here comes a lever. Okay. So financial levers are used constantly in relationships as a way to dominate the relationship. And when this happens and when this is allowed, it emasculates the man over time.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the thing. Here's a perfect way to fix this, in my opinion. And this is set on the onset of the relationship, right? I am the leader of this family. At the end, I don't care where the money comes from. I'm the leader. So if you think you're calling something because goodbye then. Like it's just immediate. Like if you're not gonna, because things like this, like I don't have to respect the president, but I respect the office of the president, right? I respect the office that he holds. That's the authority over me. I respect the institution of this thing called marriage enough to where I respect the office that my husband holds. I may not be happy with him, but I respect the office that he holds. And if that's not the principle of the relationship, that right there, that eliminates all the problems. Doesn't matter who brings in what money, who makes more. No. The office that I hold is what you respect. This is not a pay by play, or pay to play, relationship. And I think that's when people think that whoever brings in the most money must mean that they're the ones in charge or they're the authority because they earn the most. No, that has nothing to do with it at all. It's the position that you hold in this relationship. You don't move around your positions.
So I think a good solution Avis brought up, right, was she got to the point where she's like, listen, you handle the finances. Just let me know what the budget is. And she basically, again, she is following her husband, which I think she's showing, a good balanced role there as a wife or a husband, right? I think that's a really good point because if we want to wonder what's the solution to this, especially if two people have to work, what is the solution to this? And I think it's remaining within our roles, right? Being submissive to our husbands and letting him take the leadership in that, and then accepting that. And if he says that we need to pull back and live more simplistic, then respect that. Don't go, oh no, I'll just go pick up another shift, or oh no, I'm paying the bills, so you can't tell me what to do. It's learning that discernment there.
Yeah.
And I think what Rob actually hit on is like, by when him taking over the finances, what he said is like, baby girl, this is not your problem. This is not your responsibility. This is mine. And he's like, I don't, your job is not to worry about it. You need to go worry about these other things. This is mine. Leave this to me. And that right there is taking full accountability, full authority of the problem, like of the scenario, not depending on her. Because if she has to worry about you fulfilling your job, now she's stressing out. So he just removed that worry and that stress from her. And she's like, okay, here's your allowance. Here's the allowance. This is what you get. This is what you get to spend weekly. That's it.
Yeah. And be patient. I think too, just having the long-term outlook on it is, again, I'll just use our own example because it's the easiest thing to talk about. But when Avis and I first got together, we were both working. We were both actually making about the same amount of money. And she got pregnant with our first kid, and we decided I pulled the lever, pull out of the workforce, right? So our income got cut in half. And it was, obviously it was very challenging. So it was
traumatic is the word I would like to use.
Our lifestyle changed a lot, and as Avis was kind of joking, but not half joking about it, was like, okay, Avis, here's your allowance for the month is $10. But be patient because, with her now being at home, and it alleviated a lot of responsibility for me at the house because now this is her full-time job. And I was able to go out and start killing it in the workforce and, do all these things. And so after a number of years of this, her allowance went from $10 to, $100 to $1,000 to 10. Well, I'll keep that to myself. But like it exponentially grew, right? Because I was able to kind of get out there. So I think that's something couples really should think in mind too. Is also be thinking long term. Like,
well,
what is the
I
long
tell
term?
women, I tell all women all the time, you can have it all, but not all right now. That's exactly
Yeah.
what I'm trying to tell them. There's going to be stages, or some people call them seasons in a marriage, where you're going to have to pull back. You're going to have to simplify. There was a time I had $60 a week for a budget to pay for three, my son and my husband. Like, that's all we had for groceries. So I had to budget that, and now I don't even need to look at price tags anymore, but you have to go through those stages. And I think it's important for women to really understand their role, that you don't need to go do more, because you doing more is just going to make you more overwhelmed, more resentful of your husband. It's going to put you in that whole, like, I'm paying bills, so I'm the dominant one now. It just throws the whole, that's what we're having. What's like, when you think about Allie, right? Allie Beth, what's going on right now? Like, that's one of the reasons why men were so upset. You are a mother with young children, and you're out here on a stage lecturing men. Why aren't you home with your kids? Why isn't your husband in that role? Why isn't he the one talking to men? So this goes
I wonder if he
into
has
the
a
same
porn
thing.
problem. I wonder if he has a porn problem. Like, I'm wondering if like this is like her, really talking to him, but really like trying to talk to all men at the same time, but she's really talking to him. Like,
What they call that, social therapy.
Exactly.
How did I somehow know this conversation was going to turn into the porn topic?
But actually, I'm going to turn this into another lever, though, because sex is a lever. It could be used to be weaponized, or it could be, used just like the video. Watch.
That's sexual leverage. Yeah.
So, you love your wife, correct?
What kind of question is that, Doc?
Well,
of course, I love
asked.
my wife.
Okay, well, I asked because she says that you are not being intimate.
Of course you would. All right. Can I explain this?
Sure.
Okay. Look, there's a difference between loving your wife and wanting to fuck. Okay? Completely different.
Okay.
So, like, for instance, there's a lot of women out there, beautiful women, that I would love to fuck. Does not mean I would want to love them, be in a relationship with them.
I understand.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. But when it comes down to this, I just kind of been feeling scammed. Like, I got the lemon of the lot.
What do you mean by that?
Let me explain. Look, when we first got together, she was amazing. She was fun, outgoing, sexy, just, oh my God, just always wanted to be around her. Like, she was flawless.
Okay.
After we said I do, I guess that translated to I don't have to do anything that I was doing before. But I still do. God forbid I stopped doing anything that I was doing. But all of a sudden, you know what? Sexiness went out the window. Gone. Like, she used to wear these amazing 90s. Sexy. You know what she's wearing now to bed?
What?
Baggy pants and an old t-shirt.
Oh, that's no good.
Tell me what the fuck's sexy about that, Doc.
Nothing.
Nothing. Not even a little bit. Can't even get a little flinch. Not a nothing. All right? Flatline. Straight.
Okay, I mean, I'm reliving my trauma right now. Okay, that was the outfits was a lever. Okay, that was a bad lever to pull. Baggy sweatpants and old t-shirt is not a good combination, ladies. It's a really bad lever. Don't pull it.
But we don't subconsciously do that. We're just trying to be comfortable. But
What's
I
wrong
can
with-
see where, that's why I say don't get comfortable all the time.
Yeah,
I say
look.
don't get comfortable.
That brings up another lever, right? The hard conversations, because Rob will be like, well, that's not sexy. Where's your little shorts? Go on. We'll turn the heat up.
Which, by the way, increases your financials because now your heating bill is going up, right? But
Let's you have a fire like a wood stove. If you have like one of those wood stoves in there, that'll heat up the whole house. Don't worry. Just
yeah.
So
But,
this
like, okay,
brings me into the next one. Oh, go ahead.
I'm just saying, like about the sex though. Sex is a lever that men and women both have a responsibility that they both can pull though, because guys can pull levers that could actually complement and bring positive outcomes like more sex, but we could also not knowingly pull the wrong lever that could actually just cut out sex without even knowing. Like, so how do we like discuss these levers? Like, are these levers always pulled manipulative, like in a malicious way? I don't want to say that when women pull these levers, they do it maliciously, but the outcome is negative. So how do we
think about it like this? Like a man might get frustrated and be like, "You dumb bitch," or "Shut up," right? Like he'll get pissed, right? And he's just out of like sheer frustration, just like saying it. But that poisons the well, and now she's like, now she doesn't want to love on him or whatever, right? So that could be how he talks to her.
But you can follow that up with how we're going to solve this is in the bedroom right now. Go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that is a thing. I mean, again, I'm just gonna draw from my own personal experience. I keep saying that. I'm like Groundhog Day over here. But, I can, Avis, even as long as we've been married, I know people may find this hard to believe. She still gets an attitude sometimes. It does happen. And, like I can pull that lever. I'm like, you know what? We're going to go have some crazy freaking sex. Right. And it works. Like the next day, like she's glowing. Her attitude is completely different, right? Things are like so. I do think that's
Rob,
know,
so I have a question for you, Rob. I have a question for you. Like, you ever notice like it's like maybe 2-3 days go by, no action, right? And you just see her get a little bit more fussier, and she get a little more snooty, and she cops an attitude. Like she almost writing checks that her little ass can't cash, and you're like, wait a minute, how many? You know what? I know what it is. You need some sex therapy. Room. Is that what it is?
Yeah, like all these women on Twitter that are so nasty and come at us and whatever, they're missing some good D. That's all I got.
They are underfucked. I agree.
Yeah.
100%.
I mean, as a woman, it's your real superpower. I mean, you might call it manipulation, but like sex makes everything better. Like if the sex is good, life is good.
Yeah. Get that down pat and pretty much everything else runs smoothly.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the levers? What do you think the levers that women need to avoid pulling and that they need to be pulling to maintain that long term? I mean, you guys, both of you two, both couples here, not couples, but you guys and Gia and you and your husband, you guys been married for like forever. Like the combination, like older than each. You guys are old. Your marriages are old. You get like old folks, like 1990, 50 something. You guys are old. Like turn of the century marriages. Like how do you pull? Which levers do you pull? What have you learned throughout the course of your relationship? Which levers have pulled to avoid sexual drought? Like which ones have you learned?
I'll let you guys go.
Fitness.
Yeah, I mean it's a huge one. You got to be attracted, right? Attraction is huge, and I know all of us here recognize that, right? And I know a lot of people out on X don't seem to recognize that, but it's a huge one. You have to keep attraction high. It matters, and if you want to insulate your marriage, you need to be paying attention to it.
Yeah.
And that's a two-sided coin for women. If you're keeping your body up, you're going to feel better naked in front of a mirror alone in a room, which means you're going to feel better naked in front of your husband.
Yeah.
Gio, do you have any advice? Like what lever did you?
I always talk about this. I always talk about sexual leverage because that's really what women have. That's what they have. That's like their main tool. So don't weaponize affection. I don't care how mad he makes you. I don't care what's going on. Do not weaponize affection. Still go over to him, hug him, do your wifely duties, still make his meal, serve him his meal, do what you need to do in the house. Don't do this whole revenge thing. Keep up with your responsibilities. Let it go.
And I say husbands always grab ass. Like just grab her throughout the day. Just a constant reminder. Flirt with her. Send her a text message. I was thinking about your little ass when you're getting out of the shower. Something throughout the day. Constantly keep that thought going. Because if you stop doing that and you get so consumed with work or consumed with life, and you stop pouring into that, when you're ready, when you want it, it's going to be so much harder for her to get into that mood, that mindset.
Glenn, we can do this too, right? This is okay.
That's true. But
oh my God, that's degenerate. Don't do that. That's degenerate.
Oh my God.
I've been objectified. Yes, please.
Objectify your wife. No, fellas, objectify your wife.
Your porn brain, Rob. Your porn brain.
Porn brain.
Rob, they always see that coming though when they come from the front. But if you smack them in the ass, they don't never know when it's coming. It just
It's true.
That's how you create that emotional spike too. You remember that?
So I want to get into the next two because these are like huge. One is the social levers, because this one is I would say is a big one now in our modern day because of social media. So since social media came on, people can go and they can virtue signal their relationships online to either disrespect or to sway the opinion of their mate or the public. So let's say they're having an argument with their husband. Instead of handling it with their husband, they go online and they go, what do you guys think if my husband or my wife did this? What do you, so literally they want the opinions of strangers instead of handling it at home where it should be.
Oh yeah, I hate that when I see that.
And that's
One
a
of my-
big one. Mhm.
Yeah. One of my biggest wins, a friend called, I answer it on speaker, and then she says to me, I'm going to need you to start complaining about Rob because I'm here to complain about my husband. And Rob was in the room, and I was like, I told you, I do not complain to you about you to my friends. And I think that's huge.
Yeah,
you gotta
they
keep
do
that
it.
in house.
I do never talk poorly about your spouse, not in public, not in private, not always be the united front, and especially with your kids. 100.
Now, do you guys believe that you need to have like a confidant, like somebody you could go to? Maybe you guys are having, you know, issues that you can't sort between yourselves, like a mentor. Like I tell guys, like, look, you need to have a mentor because maybe a mentor could actually open your eyes and show you what you can't see. Maybe you are seeing something and you think it's wrong, and it may not be what you're seeing. You might not be seeing something, you know, incorrectly. You know,
I'm a mentor. I'm a mentor too. That's why I have couples come to me, you know, or single people, they come to me and they ask me because I'm a non-biased. I don't have any, I'm not swayed in any which way. But if you take it to somebody very personal, like your family, they will have a biased opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, but I agree with what you're saying. Don't take it to like your people's, but definitely have someone that you know, a mentor, somebody you could go to that is non-biased, or that just, you know, has the, you know, remember when you guys get married and you have like everybody there at their wedding? Like these people are supposed to be, you know, there to help support that marriage, right? You know, I would say hypothetically be like the best man would be like somebody like a mentor, right? That's the guy that you go to, like, look, man, I'm going through it. Can you help me? Am I wrong here? And like kind of help you navigate this troubled time, or maybe help you problem solve this issue so that you guys have the best outcome. I think that's important. But no, I don't think you go to your girlfriends or like you go hang out with your buddies and be like, man, this bitch, let me tell you what she did today. Like, I don't think you should do that ever, but you should have a confidant, somebody that you could, it's like a confessional. Like
who do you think that is, Glenn? And the reason I'm asking is because I think it's getting harder and harder because so many couples relationships are such shit. And like, who are those people? Because there's not a lot of them out there.
There really isn't. And it's like, so like for me, like Thor was a great mentor. I could go to Thor for pretty much about anything and he would help me troubleshoot it. And he would walk me through it. He would play devil's advocate and he would get in my head and he would piss me the fuck off. But he would expose the things that I'm not seeing. He'll show me my shortcomings in doing it. And the only thing that he had is my best interest at heart. So it's very few. And that's why I said you want to have somebody that's seasoned, someone that's been there, and that you see that you see their relationship is what you would like maybe your relationship to get to. So Rob, you, sir, are actually a mentor that you just didn't know that you're a mentor yet, but you are a mentor. And I would, guys that are watching this, go to Rob. Okay. He's a mentor. There you go. It's like, but the guys that have the successful and happy relationships, when you see they have their home in order, that's somebody that's a mentor worthy. Now you have to create that relationship with that mentor so that they could be your mentor. But you know,
what I was kind of trying to pick at was, you know, because I think some people would say, go to your pastor, go to your church.
No, I wouldn't say that.
I mean, I know I wouldn't say that either. but I think people hear that advice a lot, and I don't actually know it's the best advice in the world.
No, and that's why I say you want your mentor to have the relationship that reflects. They have a relationship that you want yours to look like. You want yours to be somewhere near there. You know, you want. You know, the family dynamic to look, you want to have that reflection. You're like, man, I want something like that. I want our relationship to get to that level, you know, and that's who you want. Right. And I know, like they say, go to your pastor. I would love for we could say, yes, go to your pastor. But you know what? I'll be honest with you. Pastors are not equipped to deal with the problems today. They're not. They live and most of them live in this whole servant leader model anyways. And that's detrimental. So I
Let
wouldn't
me
advise
that
guys to go to
this
pastors.
this is perfect because it goes straight into the next lever. It goes into there's such thing as a moral lever, or ethical lever, right? And it's basically what religion is starting to become, right? So women will go, hey, let's take it to the pastor, and then they'll use guilt, manipulation, or religion, shame onto the husband to have him back down from what he knows he needs to do. And they'll be like, well, let her handle this when he knows what need to be done. So what does he do? He backs off, he gets emasculated. So it's like, it's a way to kind of do the whole, like, you're a good husband if you follow her, or servant leader.
I
You
think
know what? Oh, go
before
ahead. Go
you
ahead,
even
David.
start reaching out to mentors, you need to, like, I mean, we preach have the hard conversations. Like, if I can't say it to Rob, I shouldn't be saying it to somebody else. So, like, if I'm having an issue here, and that's kind of the beauty of the maturity of our relationship, is that there is nothing out of bounds for us to say to one another. Like, if you're feeling it, you should be able to say it out loud, let the other person hear it. Sure, sometimes that's hard to hear or hard to say, but that's how relationships just grow, mature, and really are fruitful.
Yeah, and I think just kind of adding to that, you know, at times, like if Avis was to come to me and say, you know, throw up, whatever it is, right, that needs to be said, you know, and maybe 9% of the time I've got an answer, right? I've got a response, I've got a thing. But you know, I think also as like the spouse being aware and is self-aware enough to say sometimes, you know, I'm not really the best person to answer this question, right? Go talk to this person or that person. But I think what Avis is getting at is like taking it to your spouse first when you're in a good marriage, in a good place, right? Is a good move.
So let me point out something that was Gio was talking about, what pastors don't realize, and they should learn this. I don't know why they're not learning this, but when a wife is choosing to go to another person to be an authority, to surpass her husband's authority, right, and to try to get this person, the pastor, to be the authority, she is disrespecting their marriage. Okay, when you're saying, now mind you, this is not what I'm saying, like the husband's doing something shady and wrong and the wife doesn't want to really do this, it's something bad. But you know, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, like, you know, the husband said, no, this is what we're going to do, this is best for our family, we're going to cut back the finances, we're going to be a little bit tighter, and she may not like that, right? So she goes to the pastor and says something, you know, right there, that's her averting his authority. That's her saying, fuck you, and I'm going to get some other authority, a higher authority than you, to oversee it. So then right there, that's disrespect. And pastors need to realize when these women come to them, complain about their husbands all the time, unless the husband talks to you, you are actually being weaponized against that home to emasculate his authority, to override his authority in his household. That is detrimental to the relationship, because now the husband is not in charge, because she's just going to keep on going to this other authority that seems to rule in her favor, and she's married really to the husband or to the pastor at that time. She's not respecting the husband's authority. It's the pastor's. Yeah,
I got just a super quick story I can share about that. You know, early on in our marriage, we were having an issue, and it just wasn't getting resolved. And Avis, she went to the church and went to the pastor, and honestly, even at the time and the headspace I was in, and you know, still trying to kind of figure out how to be the right leader and those sorts of things, I was like, yeah, go talk to the pastor. Why not? Go talk to the pastor. So she goes talk to the pastor, and the pastor says to her, I think you guys should separate.
Oh my.
Yeah. And Avis, to her credit, came home and told me this, and she said, no, that's absurdity. Like, we're not. And that was a big, like, kind of light bulb moment for me. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
You don't know how many times I've heard that. You're not the only. I think I told you about when we were talking on the phone a while back. I mentioned to you this very similar scenario I was in with that. And it's just like, I don't understand how pastors could say that. What does it say in the Bible? Like, what God has joined together, let no man separate. And then you're sitting here like, oh, you know what? I think y'all need to separate.
Yeah. I mean, I hate to be, because I'm not, I love Jesus. I'm a Jesus guy, right?
Yeah.
Yes, we're all are. But like, and I hate to keep bashing on the church, but this is the reality. A lot of the shit that is happening is ruining people's marriages.
Yeah, and clearly it was an issue we easily worked out because
Yeah,
here we
here we
sit
are.
today.
Right. Yeah, that was stupid as the dumbest advice ever.
Yeah.
And think about it. If you, Avis, you would have taken that advice, you could have been another statistic. You just
Yeah.
could have been easily another divorce. And this is what I don't understand why the church doesn't get, that the church actually, currently the way the church is set up, it causes more divorces than it saves marriages. So when
Yeah.
people say, you know, marriage counseling or porn saves more marriages, keeps marriages together longer than or better than marriage counseling does, it does. And it's sad because at least the guy's being pacified and the marriage is not getting ended in divorce. But when they go to marriage counseling or they go to the church for therapy or whatever, we see that go ahead. I think you guys need to separate. I mean, like,
I knew we weren't going to get away from the porn star topic.
I know.
So the last one of these levers is the maturity lever. And this one I say because the person who stays calm in a conflict holds the power. I've always said this. The person who can basically doesn't react, doesn't let their emotions get a hold of them, they will end up controlling the outcome. And this is a lever that I think the red pill talks about a lot, right? Not using indifference. Indifference is power. And it's the same thing. When she says something that's absurd or irrational, don't react to it. Don't be emotional. And for us women, you know, same thing. If our husband's getting aggressive and angry and calling us names, don't react to it. Stay calm, stay quiet, take a breather, you know, don't weaponize affection back, and he'll calm down and he'll think about what's going on.
Yeah, I think it's more about how the way men and women problem solve, right? You know, women are very reactive. And see what men have done over time, we have adopted women's way of problem solving or reacting to things. You know, men are supposed to be more proactive. You know, like we're supposed to be the problem solver before the problem is even there. Like we should be solving problems that you guys don't even realize that are there. That's how it should be, because women are more emotional. So like, you know, like Rob was saying, like, you know, Avis came down and just kind of just blah, right? You know, you have one or two options here. You could be like, okay, do I need to fix this, or does she want me to feel this? And a lot of guys don't realize, like, when your woman is coming to you and giving you a bunch of blah, like, they actually don't want you to fix it. They just want you to validate their feelings. All right.
It's actually, women think when women come up with solutions, they come through it through talking about it. So when a woman's rambling about things, she's actually trying to like put puzzle pieces to try to come up with a solution. It's just the way that women fix versus men. I really do. I'm solid on that. What do you think, Avis?
We are different in that. We are different, but men are more linear. We're like, here's problem. I need solution. I execute solution. Like if I go to Rob, I'm like, yo, Rob, I'm having a hard time, man. I'm having this problem right here. He's not going to ask me, how does that make you feel? He's going to be like, here's a solution for your problem, right? Yeah. Give this a shot. Implement this. See if this works, right? Like that is very linear. Women want to know, they have the problem. They want their feelings validated about the problem. That's the whole talking it through part. Right. And they think that in that validating and talking it through experience with somebody, that they're going to somehow get the pieces put together.
They want you to feel the emotions along with them.
And see, you know, that's what guys been doing these days that are very negative, because they're responding to problems that women respond to them. Like if I ever heard a guy tell me, like, you know, here's my problem, and let me tell you how it makes me feel, I really don't care. Let's just get, let's put your feelings to a side. Let's just address the problem, right? And knowing how to respond to that dynamic is important, because one shows you're competent. So when your woman is having an issue or she's bringing issues to you, and you're able to maintain that stoic, okay, okay, cool. Like you're just able to not react to her. You already know that you're already working the solution in your head. That right there shows you that, okay, she knows that she can rest in you. You're supposed to be the rock in her storm. She's chaos. The woman's chaos. You can't be chaos with her. And I think that's where guys really kind of screw up, is because they back and forth. And, she throws it at him, and then he throws it right back. And without realizing, like, oh, okay, hold on. What do I need to do right now? The reactive. So
Rob, when you sent me a DM and you were like, you really wanted to get into the levers conversation, I was this also to do with the hormones and how women have a different surge of hormones through the month? Like
Ooh.
how
Dorm.
So all right. So G is reading in my mind here right now, and she's like, in Rob in his recent history, when he's like, Avis comes and throws up at him, and she's like, I'm like, this perimenopause thing is driving me insane. My hormones are insane, and this is one of these situations where Rob is like, I am not the best person to talk to about this. Like, I want to help you, and I will give you all the tools that you need to get the help, whatever that is. But you got to solve that with somebody else, because I'm not the expert here. But
so
yeah,
because throughout the month, right? So women will have a surge of different hormones throughout the month.
yes.
So if she is more emotional and like wants to cry, she is a lot of estrogen, more estrogen dominant, right?
Yes.
If she's having trouble sleeping, moody, she's not resting, she's having progesterone. The progesterone's being dipped. If she is sluggish, tired, lethargic, the testosterone is missing. So yes, I think that women don't like. I don't think most people understand women's.
Where's the porn star in the
hormone.
cycle?
That's when everything's
That's
balanced.
the ovulation, right?
Yes. That's when everything's
Yes,
balanced.
that's
you know
the
what?
testosterone spike.
But hold on, Gia, but guys go through the same thing too, especially over 30, and they don't even realize it. Like male
Kinda.
hormones are, well, guys that are like are having low T issues, they start declining. It's a slow drop, right? But they don't realize that their hormones need to be regulated too. So women's hormones are important, but just as important as male hormones, knowing that balance, making sure you have good hormonal balance and you get your levels checked is important.
Yeah.
So
True.
Gee, I think what you were asking me is like, maybe this is where we were going, is there are, in the longer you've been with a woman, you will kind of recognize this cycle, right? And there are things, and this may fall into the manipulation category, right? Maybe healthy manipulation. There will definitely be things that I will address with Avis that I know she's going to be more receptive to it at certain times of the month versus different times of the month, right? And just, so being aware of the hormones. Now, right now, just this was true up until a certain point in our life, and now Avis is this perimenopause phase, and looks kind of more like this on a daily basis, right? Getting a little harder to figure out. But is that kind of where you're going?
I just wanted to make sure that we covered everything, like, because I know that
yeah,
you were.
I mean,
you
I think
really
it's an
wanted to
important
get into
topic,
this.
and again, I'm not the expert here, right? But
I think that we need to, as women, at least I'm speaking for myself, I don't allow that to affect my actions. So I'm not over here going, oh, because I'm, XYZ in the middle of the month, I'm allowed to act this way. No, it's just not acceptable. Like I move not how I feel. Like I'm not going and doing things on a day-to-day basis according to how I feel. I'm doing them because I know they got to get done. I'm like, suck it up, buttercup, and get it done. So that's just how I move.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I get all my stuff done, but the daily difference might be, am I smiling today or am I just doing it today?
Yeah.
So like, how do you approach that, Rob? Like when you notice like, ooh, she's a little emotional today. You like,
how do you
do you just give her a chocolate bar or something?
No, we don't do that in this marriage. We take some of the food away. No. Yeah. I mean, I think I just, like maybe there's some very like deep topic we need to talk about, right? Maybe there's something going on in our marriage, and it's important, and I know it's going to be emotional, right? I know it's going to get emotional, and I just know, not because it's not because I want her to be receptive to it, right? And I just know there are certain times of the month in that cycle when she's going to be more level-headed in having that conversation than she will be in other times of the month. So if there's something that we need to discuss, I may just push the pause button on that for a week, right?
Yeah, that's just using good discernment, right? Like knowing, like, okay, this is not the right time to bring this up. Let me bring this up, and it may not even need to bring it up later because it might even correct itself in that window of like waiting, right? So
honestly, once Rob kind of clued into my hormonal cycle and started playing that manipulation, our relationship got better. Because, I mean, I'm very affected by my hormones. I'm surprised that Gia said she can keep hers so level. Like it definitely affects my mood and my attitude and how I'm going to react to something. And if he waits 3 days, I'm not gonna have a crying fit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like, okay, yeah, that's hard to hear. I hear your side of it. This is how I see it. And then, we'll
Yeah.
have a rational conversation versus emotionally led.
I mean, if you're a husband and you don't want to pay attention to that, that's fine. I mean, have that conversation whenever you want to have it, but just understand at certain times of the month you're swimming upstream, and it's gonna make it a lot more difficult.
And it's like, when if you're the husband, you have to communicate to your audience, right? So talk to your wife the way that she's going to be able to best receive it and know when that time is, right? It could be a hormonal issue. It could also be a chaotic issue with the kids and everything. Pick the right time to address the issue when you need to address the issue. Now, there's certain things.
Sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, we do the same things as women, right? Like if he's been out of the house working all day and he comes in, we don't hit him right away with our problems. We greet him. We make sure that he has time to decompress. Or, if I know he's had a full day of meetings in his office and he comes out, like, again, let him decompress. Like you don't hit your man with everything of the day. Like even if the toilet is broken, right? Like you wait until the time is right. It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, it's just like, as Gia would always say, that's discernment. It's discernment.
Discernment.
Is that what Gia said? I'm
gonna stop repeating myself. You're gonna start making like,
I'll be like, hold on. I'm gonna make a sound drop. I'm like, hold on, it's Gia.
Discernment.
If you really want to make one that gets people going, you need one that says you have 3 holes, sis. Porn star.
Fuck your husband like a porn
Hold on, you gotta say it right because I'm recording this and I will make a sound drop out of it. Please
Fuck your
believe.
husband like a porn star.
That's being recorded. That's it. It's a sound drop now. Solution to all problems.
I'm not apologizing for that.
Yeah, don't apologize.
Well, you guys, we have hit that hour and 15-minute mark, and so I want to say it's a good time to wrap it up like a condom. So how about we say our final words when it talks about these levers, starting with we're gonna go with Avis because I like Rob. I will give him a little bit more extra time. I'm kidding.
You don't talk a lot, Glenn? What is going on here?
Wait, what's the assignment?
Levers. What do you want to say about
final thoughts on levers?
Oh, final word on levers. Know the ones that benefit you the best, and don't be afraid. Glenn's gonna call it manipulation. I'm gonna call it relationship success.
Hey, manipulate that relationship so it's successful. I like it. Rob, on you. All the time that you want.
All the time that I want. All right, hang on. Let's get that now. No, I would say be a student. Be a student of. There's a bunch of levers out there. We just touched the tip of the iceberg here, right? And learn what they are. Some of them you're going to know kind of intuitively. Some of them you're not going to know. Observe the couples that have good marriages. What levers are they pulling? So I think that would kind of be my final word is just become a student of this and really what does this mean, and understanding what all the possibilities are and what makes sense for you and where you're at in the point in time in your relationship.
Yeah, I agree. Gia.
So I'm going to be real short with it. Just basically a healthy marriage is a nice balance of all of these. It's learning that it's being self-aware that if somebody is constantly the only one pulling these levers and in a negative way, it's used for control. And it's something that should never be tolerated or accepted in a relationship. So that's where I'm going to end it.
Yeah. And I was just saying right before we go, but you guys stay back here with us after we wrap. But I'll say, guys, like it's your job to be like observant of this, knowing what levers to pull, knowing what levers not to pull, what time to pull. These are all beneficial to you if you want your relationship to be successful in the long run. As Rob said, be a student, be attentive, be intentional with this as well. If not, if you let it lax, then to me, it just kind of falls into bad leadership. So the best thing to do is be a good student, understand what levers that works with you and your relationship, and don't be afraid to pull them.
100% endorsed.
Yes. See, we got it endorsed by Robin Avis. We got the whole stamp of approval. ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of Len and Gia Reacts.